And welcome back, guys, to the Top Clans 2020 Tom and Jerry Chase the Invitational. My name is Chisto. Alongside me is Sayora, and we are coming in to Game 2 of tonight. We are going to be heading over to the lower bracket matches here. And this time around, it will be Tuffy going up against Front.
And of course, whoever wins this specific round will be facing Team INP later for our third match. But yeah, we will be heading on to the game just a bit. But you know what? I mean, this is the team overview for our respective teams. Team Tuffy is going to go with the classics, Tom and Jerry, and of course add the essential mouse or mice to boot right there. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Still sticking to the OGs. Meanwhile, in a bit, we are going to see the compositions of Front right here, and so far from the previous days and matches that we have witnessed, both the classic Tom and Jerry are very, used in a very effective way. So right now, for Team Front, they are gonna hover up a little bit more versatile compositions here, having Toodles, Lightning, and OG Tom, and the usuals that we see for the mice side.
Yeah, very interesting though from the team that is named Tuffy. Out of their played mice, I only saw one Tuffy out of the 5 mice players, but this should be a very, very fun match between these two teams. Again, lower bracket action, so things are on the line for them. Tournament life is going to matter for either one of these teams if they want to have a shot at going for our prize pool. They're gonna need to win this very, very crucial match for both of them. Bring out the top C. We haven't seen anyone bring out the Toodles just yet, so maybe bringing out one of those cats will be a factor here. But right now, it seems like Front's Mirage will be playing with the King of Pop, Tom, busting out his moves, going up against the 4 most played of mice characters, I should say here.
Yeah, and Jerry with the Santa costume here, too early for Christmas. But I think that is going to be his Halloween costume as well. And during the last seconds of the picking phase, he is going to change, I guess, his skin to the dog head piece. So I think that's going to look pretty good on your turn.
I honestly love the dog mask that Tom can wear because it essentially hides his face from Jerry. He's never gonna suspect something that looks like that. He's never gonna suspect something that looks like that to chase him, as we are gonna hop over to our very crucial patrol phase right now.
And yeah, as mentioned, Team Front is going to, earn some points. Team Front rather is going to earn some points for them, and here going back, this can really push through a good 1-0 point if ever they manage to do some amazing plays. But right now, patrolling phase, still the fundamental strategies for both sides of the team here. So robot mice really gonna transition themselves quickly from the kitchen to the bedroom area. So they are having some ideas to where at least the dining room cheese is at. And so with this robot mouse onto the living room, he already has the information that 2 of the cheese is already located there. So it's a matter of where they would position themselves as we head on to the dispatch phase.
Alright, 10 minutes now for Mirage, who is currently invisible in the kitchen, just making quite a bit of a mess, to dispatch all of these mice. 3 of them, in fact, if he wants to win this round for his team, might be challenging, as he does have a bunch of TNT here ready to blow up and explode. He's just gonna toss that. I believe didn't really hit anything though.
Yeah, and it wasn't also lighted up as well, so I think he's just gonna put it there in a position for later if ever escape phase comes. But you know that mousetrap was used effectively here, and with the early seconds of our game, he is able to get Robin Hood Jerry, and in a very secluded area to boot.
Yeah, pretty good job here by Mirage, able to catch out one of the more mobile mice in the game. And for you guys out there who are gonna give this game a test run, you want to be one of the more quick mice, Robin Hood Jerry might just be for you. Having that double jump and that parachute he can bring out means that he has more maneuverability compared to the rest of the mice. But seems to me that is no problem for Tom, as he already did grab Robin Hood Jerry for the second time during this dispatch phase. 10 seconds till he gets dispatched.
Alright, so the owner here being a bit of a challenge for Tom right here, but I like it how he is able to set up some mouse right here. But you know, the owner was able to hit both Tom and Jerry, but in the long run, Robin Hood Jerry unfortunately is going to be wiped out of our board right here. So this is going to give Mirage a little bit more time, you know, to actually get a lot of mouse as much as possible. And he is on the run for King Jerry, and this is the usual strategy that we have been witnessing on through the previous matches, really prioritizing the tankier mouse so that it's not going to be much of disturbance come the later parts of the game.
Yeah, King Jerry essentially running for his life there. Doesn't want to get swatted by the fly swatter that Mirage has at the moment. Again, mice have already pushed in 3 wedges of cheese right now, only 2 away from triggering that escape phase and enjoying their blocks of cheese. But right now, with Robin Hood Jerry out of the picture, that means the mice have less members to really throw at Tom here and distract him, while the rest of them try to go for these pushes onto the cheese.
Oh, that was a very nice stun right there by King Jerry. So he is going to use the vents area only to find one member attempting to push this cheese right here. So it's a viable strategy to just place another trap in the area. But you know what? He is going to go back into the pipes to potentially get another mouse up on his sleeve. So Detective Jerry was able to get some cheese, transports himself into the patio area.
Yeah, but Tom is hot on his trail at the moment. We'll be able to force him to drop the cheese there, but Detective Jerry able to make himself turn invisible, as it will be King Jerry's turn to cause some distractions here for Tom. Does have that gun in his hands. Gonna try and shoot some stuff here at Mirage, who will be going back through the pipes back onto the attic. I think he's trying to catch Detective Jerry, but will lose his trail for now.
Again, guys, to those who are currently watching the stream, the code that is redeemable is seen onto the lower right side of the screen here. So that is the redeemable code that you guys can claim when you go into the website that is indicated into the pinned comment. So right now, going back into the game, Chisto, okay, the dynamite's going to be lit up by Tom here. So I think he's just, utilizing every material that is located within the area. So going back right here, they are juggling their way here onto the bedroom area. So I like it how King Jerry is prioritized here, but at the same time, King Jerry doing a pretty good job in containing Tom Cat here, and the other mice will be heading onto the utility room because they already started to actually push the cheese into the mouse hole. So right now they are going to be in a split positions right here. So King Jerry is going to make his way patio onto probably the bedroom here and try to go for a literal split pushing of the cheese.
And right now it will be classic Jerry's turn to try and kite around here and get away from Tom. He will find himself on top of a mousetrap and hit with the frying pan, already strapped onto a rocket, but Detective Jerry on the case, able to save his teammate there instantly. And it's becoming very challenging now for the mice from the side of Tuffy to push in these wedges because they are already down a member. Mirage right now doing an excellent job of playing defense here. About 3 minutes to go in the dispatch phase. Might just be able to find the second dispatch of the game here.
If the game goes pretty well for the side of Mirage. And yeah, like you mentioned, that is another dispatch for Mirage right here. And at this point, he's just, have to be very patient in actually getting one of the mice right here because he is on the tails of VEE up to this point. So he is gonna transition his way onto the stairs. I think he lost him, which is slightly a good sign. But you know what? He is gonna pipe himself on to the kitchen area here. So again, really transports himself there. He knows that the cheese is gonna be pushed here. He knows that there will be a mouse nearby. So this is a good, this is a good strategy for Mirage, just being patient, not being too aggressive in terms of pushing them because he knows that the odds is slightly on his favor right here. So he is on the chase for King Jerry. So the smokes is going to be utilized here to potentially push. But you know what? The fact that he is able to place some materials there to prevent the push to actually happen is one of the things that Mirage is, commended in actually doing.
And I'm like what King Jerry was trying to do there, using his ability to become invulnerable to using his scepter to turn invulnerable to try and buy himself a few seconds of pushing in that wedge of cheese, because the mice know that if they are able to push this final wedge of cheese in, the scoring will be in their favor. Detective Jerry just gonna use that smoke bomb to run interference on top of the hole. It is giving them so much time to push this final wedge of cheese in. Now let's see what Detective Jerry needs to do here. His teammate is being run off here to one of the rockets. It seems like the move will be to push that final wedge and trigger the escape phase. See how this one will turn out.
Yeah, and this is looking pretty good for Mirage right here, already tying down the King Jerry finally here. And this forces Detective Jerry to go for the save. But Bruce in the nearby area was luckily evaded by Mirage at this point. So he is invisible. He is going to go for the save. Will he? But unfortunately, he was not trapped yet. But they're just really alternating into that position. They are successful in going for the save, but again, the chase is going to be on. It does spots out the Detective Jerry in a trade right there, so he is gonna tie him up in a rocket chair. So let's see, King Jerry is gonna wave his wand right here again for another save, but he knows that King Jerry still has the skill sets on him, so I think he's just gonna patiently wait for the shields to actually disappear onto the chase for Detective Jerry. Let's see if he is going to hit VEE right here. Ooh, too close for comfort. Goes for the pan and gets the mouse.
Not enough time, I believe, for the mice right now to push in that wedge of cheese. They are trying to prevent the cat from winning, though, by trying to rescue the final mouse. But with that, I think the cat will finally come off there with the victory. Very, very close round there, making full use of those 10 minutes to try and dispatch those mice. And in the end, was able to get 3 of them for that victory. But mice were able to push in 4 wedges of cheese. So as far as the scoring goes, it will be a very, very close one to call for this game number 1.
So let's see if these scores are really. I think it's still going to side onto Team Front if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think with our round number 2, this could be a good opportunity for them to, actually. Oh, it's actually Team Tuffy that is going to be ahead by 3 points against Team Front. So right now they still have the 3-point advantage. All they have to do is just to be
those wedges of cheese, but I am pretty much excited for the second and deciding game. I think the teams come out a lot more seriously, especially when we are playing in the lower bracket. So heading into this second game, match point now for Tuffy. I am pretty much
Ooh.
excited as we are seeing some pretty interesting skins come out for a bunch of these players.
I thought it was Cherry. It's like it was Robin Hood Cherry. That I think this is a Valentine skin. Oh man, my expectations. I initially thought it was Cherry. I initially hoped for that, but that costume kind of deceived me.
I feel like it's the wrong month for Valentine's costumes. Normally October you want to have a spookier sort of Halloween-esque vibe, not really the same as February and those Valentine's themed skins. But to each his own. Maybe he is feeling quite
Spooked out on a Valentine feeling.
yeah. But yeah, we are gonna head over to the summer cruise for our map right now. Patrol phase of game 2 between Tuffy and Front.
And still with the same strategies right here, but I like it how the mice are really thrifty in terms of using the robot mouse right here. But this is certainly a match point. Round 2 first half rather, so that you would really want to dish out as much resources as possible. So again, locating the cheese, they are going to get some information, and onto the map right here, the cheese are slightly compressed together, just one room away. So this may be an opportunity for the mouse to group at least themselves together by twos and go for some simultaneous pushes. Or will Mirage actually abuse that certain strategy and just really injure them out as much as possible?
And for Mirage right now, the really key thing for him is to not allow any of the mice to push in the wedges of cheese if he wants to score the most amount of points for this first half. Remember, the scoring system works. If the cat wins, the score he gets depends on how many wedges of cheese are pushed through the holes here. So let's see whether or not he can dispatch these mice early before they push in the cheese through the holes.
And yeah, guys, again, to those who are currently watching the stream, do not fret. You have some freebies and rewards in store for you, which is located into the lower right side of the screen right now, guys. So all you have to do is download the game, which is available in the App Store and Google Play. And do not forget, guys, when you go into the website, do not forget your in-game ID. Maybe that is, the reason why the code is not invalid, or it's not entering your account. So do not forget your game ID, all right? And when you log into that game, you are able to receive it this time. So why now going back into the game? Lots of mice grouped together earlier into the cabin area, but they were easily dispersed through and through, was able to transport themselves into the dining hall this time around.
Of course, we are 2 minutes into this dispatch phase, and Mirage is starting out quite well here. Already tying up one of the mice to a rocket and whacking the other with his frying pan. Of course, that is one of Tom's abilities here. If you do get hit by that frying pan, the egg will fly, cover your face, and if you are a mouse, you will be blinded for quite a bit, which will make you struggle. But the mouse that was initially tied onto a rocket will be rescued.
Okay, so one wedge of cheese is already pushed through the mouse hole. So again, that fog is going to block some vision for certain duration there, but he was able to take some concoctions right there that made it disappear easily. So now our King Jerry is just making his way into the cabins to save his dear life, avoiding Mirage. But you know what, he was frozen in the process, and now we are seeing Devil Tuffy, if I'm not mistaken, really transporting that cheese into the dining room.
Yep. And the mice are actually on a pretty good pace right now in terms of pushing the cheese in. Already 2 of the wedges pushed into those mouse holes, getting them closer and closer to escape. And there's plenty of time in the dispatch phase here for the mice to work with. So let's see, they are spreading out quite well here, not giving Tom any opportunities to catch out a single one of them here, not allowing him to continue chasing them down. Of course, Tom will be one of those cats that excels at it.
And again, with this fly swatter right here, wanting to utilize any potential hit that he may inflict upon them. So right now, Robin Hood Jerry again shoot in his way onto the stairs area, and and the process, Mirage was stunned with a short duration, really negating that gap, or actually furthering the gap rather, against Robin Hood Jerry. But right now, going back here, a lot of dynamites, a lot of resources right here that is really on guard with this specific cheese. So our mouse would really want to have that strategy to take those away, because it could be it could lead them into a challenging situation if they don't do something about the materials that are in the vicinity.
It seems like the mice have slowed down a bit here. They're trying to be a lot more careful in terms of where they are clumped up. Mirage right now is struggling quite a bit to use this fly swatter of his. Can't squish down any of these mice right now. He is fairly close to Robin Hood Jerry, I believe, and he will find King right now. But he does have an ice cube.
Yeah, so Front isn't making much of progress right here into our game. So right now, he is trying to make things work by dropping some essential materials into the area right here onto the kitchen side. Okay, he is aware that there is some cheese right here, so this also gives time, however, for the other mice to remove the dynamites and other items that is near the dining room or into the film area. So right now he is making his way right there, but Robin Hood, I think he is trying to lure Tom out just so that they could have the time to push the cheese successfully into that film area. So all they have to do now is just to really push the remaining cheese, which is located into the kitchen area, and the crack is going to be spawning at any moment.
4 wedges of cheese in. The mice doing an excellent job so far of not giving Mirage any opportunities to really catch out any one of them. I think they have been doing an excellent job of hiding from the mouse right now, but one of them will get caught. Robin Hood Jerry, not quite as slippery as he thought he would be.
Yeah, but you know what? King Jerry is there to go for the potential rescue. Nice kiting back there though for him, and I think this is a good time to pressure out Mirage, simply because he has to focus on defending, or actually protecting, or not letting Nero get saved, and at the same time the cheese to be pushed. So he is able to get the King Jerry, but was frozen in the process. So now we are seeing the chase once more. So Detective Jerry, being sneaky as he is onto the kitchen area, is gonna go for the potential push. But Tom, fast on his feet, knows this. But look at that. The nick of time, Detective Jerry was able to push the cheese there and onto the deck area. The crack spawns.
Yeah, and just before that, I want to mention how crucial it was that they were able to get that ice cube onto Tom and rescue one of those mice, because had that not happened, it would have been 3 against 1 here in the escape phase. You see the mice right now working on that crack. They're doing a very, very quick job of breaking
Mm-hmm.
open this. They really, really want to get away here. But take note, one of the mice have been dispatched here. Devil Tuffy, I believe, no
Mm-hmm.
longer with us.
Yeah, and but you know the job in actually destroying the crack is in the favors of the mice. And with final plate right here, the hole is going to be appearing. So Detective Jerry was able to escape. Let's see, Robin Hood Jerry was able to shoot his way into that hole, and that concluded our round 2 first half. So it went pretty well for team Tuffy right there.
Have the potential to close out the best of 3 series here and move forward to our third game of the day and face off against IMP.
Mm-hmm. So right now, while waiting again, actually we are already headed on to our picking phase. Very interesting because we are gonna be witnessing a Tom Cat, and of course for the side of Team Front, they are gonna go with the fundamental mouse picks right here, as seen as frequent as possible. Detective Jerry not really moving himself off the board at that point, and Robin Hood Jerry to really apply some mobility to our teammates back there. And instead of a King Jerry, however, we will be seeing Mouseketeer Tuffy, again one of the tankier mouse, despite being one of the smallest one in the mouse selections back there.
Yeah, of course, when you do have that mouse team, you want to have one of them really good at rescuing, and I think either you get King Jerry or you get Mouseketeer Tuffy. I think both of them are interchangeable in terms of the lineup, but interestingly enough, we will see our second Cowboy Tom of the evening here, Saya. So let's see. Earlier on, it did not quite work out. The Cowboy Tom not getting any wins so far today, but that could very much change here as we are into the patrol phase between Tuffy
Mm-hmm.
and Front.
Another thing that you have to consider as well in terms of using a cat is to not really hesitate in dishing out your skills sets or your available skills at hand, because that could be like a source of your resources too, that you can actually play around whenever you're trying to chase some mice. So going back here into the patrolling phase, the similar strategies that we have seen for the past few matches is going to be deployed here. But you know what? This time, Cowboy Tom early, really losing that invisibility potentials, and we'll just really proceed into hunting down those mice.
Mhm. We are jumping over to the dispatch phase, so let's see. Unfortunately, does blind himself. And everyone else, we can't see the map once the cat is blinded, as we are seeing things from his perspective, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Magician Jerry does summon off his rabbit right now, making him do all the dirty work. Doesn't want to get his hands dirty pushing those wedges of cheese. And you see there the bull summoned by Cowboy Tom here. If the mouse hits one of those, it will get stunned.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that is not going to be the case right here. Tuffy doing a good job and actually kiting our Tom right here, buying some time for the other members to actually push a wedge of cheese. So again, the bull is going to be activated here onto the dining room. Let's see if he is able to get one, but you know what, into the process he is able to find out that the other members, 3 of them, are actually into the film area. So on to the chase they go. So he is able to spot out Detective Jerry right here, was able to take a hit, one more, and he is going to capture that and proceed with the rocket chair.
Yeah, and I love that he's just charging straight at these mice right now. Already did catch out Detective, but Front not wasting any time pushing those 2 wedges of cheese in. Let's see how Fair will play this one out. And so far, The other mice are not heading here to rescue. We do see Mouseketeer Tuffy lingering in the area. Should go for the rescue very shortly. Does get his teammate out of harm's way.
Alright, so he was able to go for the save, but the mouse trap though is going to trap away Detective Jerry. Make it 2, but the bull is gonna push him and really deplete the health of both Detective Jerry and both our Mouseketeer Tuffy. So he is gonna go into placing Tuffy first into the rocket chair. Understandable since he is one of the threats for the side of Fair right here. Okay, releases the bull, but was slowed down in the process. So now Magician Jerry and Robin Hood Jerry are actually committing to save, Mouseketeer Tuffy right here.
Yeah. And Tom just gonna get frozen there for a second. Will give the rest of the mice ample time to get away. 3 minutes burned down in our dispatch phase and 3 wedges of cheese already being pushed in. So the mice are well on their way to our escape phase, but Cowboy Tom right now is invisible and he is hunting. He will be able to grab Detective Jerry here.
Alright, so off to the cabin chair he goes. I think this is like the boiler room or the engine room of our cruise ship. So this is a nice call, simply because this area is secluded and would, require ample time before they actually go for the save. So right now the save is going to be successful, but again, priority is on to Detective Jerry. Detective Jerry right now playing alongside the terrains that are available in here, and I like it how the Magician Jerry just really throw his cards right here to actually delay or burden up the gap between him and the mice. So just trying to eliminate this rabbit right here to prevent the push from actually committing through.
Yep. Mice right now are working very hard really to get the rest of the wedges of cheese in. Now Tom is trying his best, does summon the bear, but it will not find anyone. Oh, actually he is gonna grab one of the mice here and instantly tie him up to a rocket. That will be the first dispatch here. Crack of the whip will signal that first mouse being thrown off the ship here. Robin Hood Jerry is out. Let's see what the other 3 can do here. They are already facing a huge hurdle here, trying to get the rest of the cheese in with one of their members being booted off the ship.
And you agree because they are down to 1 mice, and earlier they are injured. Luckily, they are in a safe position to actually go and heal themselves. Bull once again is going to be deployed and successfully gets Mouseketeer Tuffy. And this time, I think the timer is going to be a little bit faster here since Mouseketeer Tuffy has been caught in a specific, time. Ooh, but he is running. Tom, places himself in a bit of a breather situation wherein he has this ample time to go and chase the other mice. So again, he is going to have Mouseketeer Tuffy on his feet, just playing around the stairs area for that potential kite. So now with him being dizzy, finally Tom gets Tuffy back there and sticking to the original plan. The bull is going to be released right here, and he is going to be placed in a rocket chair, and I think all he has to do is just really guard down the Mouseketeer Tuffy right here. But again, the save is going to connect right here, so now off to the stairs he go. I think priority wise he is going to focus once more to Tuffy.
He was the mice were able to save their ally there, but let's see what they do here, because Magician is working with his summon here, the rabbit, pushing in that final wedge of cheese that they need. But the pressure is on the mice right now actually to try and get this one wedge in to trigger that escape phase, because Cowboy Tom is getting a bit of momentum right now after that first dispatch. Might be
Ooh.
looking to get even more right now. The helmet really doing a lot of work protecting
Ooh,
Tuffy.
but look at that. Bull, however, really stunning down the other members of the mouse right here. So it kind of leaves them in a position wherein they have to move along first. So again, Bull once more is going to be hovered here. Let's see if he is going to get Tuffy. Yes, he is able to pin him down, and off to the chair he goes once again. Magician Jerry can go for that cheese push, but you know what? He got reclined by that chair here. So going back into the cheese, really trying to defend right here. You have to take note that this is 2 minutes on the clock. I think he is gonna go into a more passive route here and just defend the cheese from being pushed.
Yeah, he does have that option here as well, Saya. He can just let the mice go into this cheese, use that as bait, and potentially just have the timer run out. Because all he needs to do here is hold on, and he should be able to get away. He is
Ooh,
flying all the way to the top right now. Will finally drop down. It did give the mice enough time to push that final wedge in here. Really close stuff right now as the mice will try to crack this wall wide open.
okay, so a bit of a mystery onto that floating area of Tom right now, but that just really goes to show that Team Front did not waste any time and just proceeded into pushing that cheese. So now he got incinerated here, and I like it how Magician Jerry is just inflicting some damage onto the crack, and Bull once again going to be deployed. He has to make some amazing plays right here in terms of actually just guarding this crack right here, because 3 minutes on the clock, and based on the positions that they have right now,
Remember, Tuffy just need to defend this crack. If no mice escape and the cat wins, they will be winning this second half and winning the entire best of 3. So right now, say it's just a challenge for Fair, who is flying around quite a bit right now. Just defend here. Maybe get rid of these fruits that can damage that wall. Can summon the bull as well to disrupt the members of the mouse squad, and just as I say it, will get that raging bull out.
Ooh, but not in an area wherein it's going to catch any mice on that. But it's enough for the other mouse to just really go away in the vicinity for now. So he is gonna eat some cake and regenerate his HP bar. So Magician Jerry just trying to make things work right here as he just throws some cards. Again, a bull going to be deployed. Let's see if he is able to take down one. So 1:50 into our clock. So this is going to be fast defending for Tom, but Tom shouldn't really go beyond the distance here, because look at that, with the helmet that Tuffy has, it can be a big contribution, but with the help of the bubble shield, it's going to buy him again enough time to defend once more this crack.
Yeah, and with less than 1.5 minutes to go, it would do it though. He needs to try and stop these mice from going in. The hole will finally be broken open. One of the mice will push through here. The mice will be able to escape. And with that scoreline, I believe that should give us the third and deciding game. I'm not quite sure. He was able to dispatch one of the mice, but really close stuff right now between these two. And they took their time as well, pretty extended game between those two.
There was a certain area wherein Cowboy Tom can change the pace right there, but I think him floating mid-air kind of placed him in a disadvantage there, because he was doing so good in defending earlier the cheese from being pushed, but him giving them the time to actually do it by that I think that was a mishap on his end. It kind of forced Team Friendly team off guard with some new strategies that you have on your hands. But the cons of this is that what if that strategy doesn't really, work out and they are able to really adapt to the said strategy. But you know what? We are going to head on to our third round, first half, and front being the cat right here using lightning. This time, one of actually the mobile cat that we have. And of course, still with the usual composition for Team Tuffy here. And I guess this is, the make or break composition for both sides of the team.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Lightning, probably the fastest cat that we have here in Tom and Jerry Chase. He is one of those characters that excels at chasing down these mice, these pesky little mice that are trying to escape with these wedges of cheese, and Lightning does it very, very well. He is able to dash around the map and set up traps to really control the terrain here against the mice. As guys, we will be hopping into first half of round 3 here, patrol phase between Tuffy and Front.
Exactly. So again, still the usual strategy in our patrolling phase.
Yeah, so one of the things that Lightning can do here as the cat is lay down those traps. He can put down those trash cans. He can lay down these pieces of fish as well for the mice to be wary of, as he will spot out one of the robot mice right now. Both teams really just playing this patrol phase very, very patiently. Alright, so let's see. 10 seconds left in the patrol phase. Mice were able to spot out where these all-important wedges of cheese are. Alright, we are gonna hop over to our dispatch phase, and we'll get to see how well Mirage can actually chase down these mice. Summer Cruise is a fairly large map, a lot of space between these rooms. And Lightning, with his mobility, will be one of those mice that can really chase these down, as he will be going for the common strategy here. For a lot of our cat players, he will be turning invisible, waiting for his chance to pounce, waiting for his chance to strike against these unsuspecting mice.
And yeah, being invisible as he is, trying to set up some traps early on into our game. But I like it how they are dispersed right now, so it kind of gives the Lightning a bit more area to work with.
Yep, he does spot out Detective Jerry here, who doesn't quite see where Lightning is as he is invisible. Will lay down that mouse trap on one of the mouse holes. Did get this piece of dynamite here with the ticking timer. Is gonna toss it out. He is gonna hit one of the mice here. So now that he has marked Magician Jerry, he will be on the chase. Does successfully grab the Magician. Gonna dash over that hazard there, that punching glove that would have put him in trouble, but a good ice cube there will allow Magician Jerry to escape for now.
The mice have pushed one wedge of
And going back right here into our game, again, the cheese is just in a nearby area, so Lightning has, a really quick areas to work with here. Detective Jerry and Magician Jerry really close together onto deck. I think looking for some buffs that they could actually intake.
Yeah, and right now, Mirage is just going to grab one of these ice cubes. Could hit one of the mice, but it does freeze Magician once more. And Magician has been in so much trouble so far here in the first few parts of our dispatch phase, as Lightning will be using his mobility to dash around even more, which will allow one of the mice to actually go for the rest here onto Magician. Let's see how Mirage decides to play the rest of this one out. Again, he's gonna spot out Magician here. Magician has not been having the best time hiding from this very quick mouse, and if he gets caught like this over and over, I fear that he will be dispatched very soon.
Mouse has been rescued from
Yeah, and
the
Look at
speaking
that
of that,
timer.
yeah, he was, 18 seconds on the clock, but was luckily saved by King Jerry. But, the cheese are a bit compressed together, so this kind of could work for Mirage if ever he play his cards right. And for the 4 minutes already on the clock, only 2 cheese were only pushed onto the mouse hole.
Exactly. So the mice not quite having the fastest pace here in terms of how much cheese they have pushed into the holes. About 6 minutes left here in our dispatch phase. So slowly but surely they are making progress, but it is allowing Mirage right now to get a lot of work done as he will catch out Classic Jerry, but once more he will get hit and stunned by that ice cube. Now the mice are grouped up towards the southern half of the map, but Mirage is on the chase. And again, it's Classic Jerry once more in a lot of trouble, not dealing well with the speed of Mirage. And as we go right now, of course, Mirage again just gonna keep getting hit by these ice cubes. He has not been having a great day up against these ice cubes. So let's see, third wedge of cheese being pushed through. What can Mirage do here to dispatch one of these mice? Nearing the halfway point of the dispatch phase as well. He has grabbed an ice cube of his own. Gonna probably try to give the mice a taste of their own medicine.
And yeah, this is a bit of a slower pace for the side of our mice right here, trying to really separate the cheese. But unfortunately, the traps that they have right now is, really forcing them to go for another strategy right here. And, really jumping on it too, that kind of places it in the favor of Lightning this time around. So again, Magician Jerry is gonna get captured, but was frozen. You do see the trend that Lightning is, constantly getting frozen. That, initially negates his strategy into tying down the Magician Jerry.
Yeah, it seems like it's the mice's favorite weapon of choice right now to go up against the cats. It seems like every time one of the mice gets caught, one of them is already ready with that ice cube and they're ready to toss it at Mirage here. Doesn't matter how fast you are if you can't move, if you are stunned and stuck in place. So right now it's gonna be Magician once more who gets caught by Mirage.
See? And just like that, them doing these combos right here, freezing out Lightning, plus to actually throw them another object just so he can be really stunned in a longer duration, is something that you have to consider right here. So right now he is on to eyeing out King Jerry right now. But this is gonna give, if I'm not mistaken, our Jerry to actually go for the push and really push that wedge. So they only need one more. So the best reaction that Mirage has to do here is to place some booby traps that is located into the remaining cheese that we have into the dining room.
And Mirage has a lot of traps to work with here. There you go, laying down the fish on top of the mouse trap as well, putting one at the top of the stairs. He is putting a lot of hazardous stuff here near that wedge of cheese that the mice would want to push through. And I think it's very crucial as well that he was able to dispatch King Jerry very late into our dispatch phase, because King Jerry is one of those mice that really excels at saving and rescuing his teammates. So now not having that asset on the mice side might give them a harder time just in case one of them gets strapped to a rocket.
So there is a cheese available in the captain's quarters, so I think it's best that they might utilize that cheese instead, since this cheese that is located in the dining room area is quite, guarded by the traps that, Mirage is actually placing here. So I'm not. I think they need to, really work their way above there, or maybe because time is ticking. Hence the reason why they are really committing for this cheese push.
Uh-huh. As Lisa there will save Magician from being rocketed off of this ship, but with 2 minutes left to push that final wedge of cheese in, let's see what work can be done here by the rest of these mice. Mirage trying his best to get rid of these pesky mice, and it's like they will be able to get rid of all of those booby traps right now. Getting some cheeky little pushes onto the wedge there. Once again, Mirage jumping onto one of those mice with his abilities.
So fish is going to, really be placed into that cheese so that it could really slow down the members of our team. So again, this is 1 more minute and 15 seconds on the clock. So right now, him being incinerated here, sure, will kind of delay him, but it's not really gonna deter him from actually defending this specific cheese. So there is a rabbit that is gonna help in the pushing of that cheese, but up to what extent, though they were able to push it in time to go ahead in the escaping phase, but the crack is just nearby between the deck and the dining room area. So Detective Jerry can have a lot of things to work with right here.
Yeah, and they are hitting the cat right now with a lot of these items, so not quite well in terms of health right now. Will mean that the mice will have ample enough of time to break open this crack. They are working on escaping right now. Let's see how much work they can actually do here. About halfway through onto escaping. Mirage putting down a lot of these fish, trying to give the mice as many hazards as possible here so that they can break open this crack in the wall.
But look at that, the bar is slowly depleting right here, and I like it how they managed to use that strength boost for Jerry. That is a big contribution in destroying the crack. So a little bit more, and they could go for the escape. And you have to take note that Lightning is low on health, so they just need to, really committed to breaking that wall. And look at that, they are able to escape with no casualties, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I guess that kind of furthers up the gap between our teams.
Actually, one of the mice unfortunately weren't able to escape. King Jerry actually got dispatched there, but Tuffy picking up that victory will be a very, very big swing of momentum over to their side, as they will be leading this third and deciding game as far as the first half goes. So once they do switch over here, it's going to be up to their cat player to close things out for them and try to dispatch the rest of front. But actually, no. Will this be that 2-1 for them,
Yes.
I suppose?
The MVP of our match, which is going to be Tuffy, the really perfect for the name, and of course Tuffy is going to be the MVP right now with an average score of 2,244, with that pushing of the cheese contribution with 183%. So if you notice, that is a big contribution for them in actually garnering up some points. He was able to save one teammate there, and the damage that he inflicted onto the cat is just high with 117.